The night was still, heavy with silence, when an old man's trembling hand clutched his wife's wrinkled fingers. The sound of laughter upstairs had faded, but the words they had just overheard still echoed in their hearts like a dagger twisting deeper with every beat. "We'll put them in an old age home. Tomorrow." They weren't supposed to hear it. Yet fate had made them linger near the staircase. Frozen in shock as their daughter-in-law whispered her plan to their only son, the same son they had raised with love, sacrifice, and dreams far greater than their own. And now, under the roof they once proudly called home, they stood unwanted, discarded like a burden too heavy to bear. Before I take you deeper into this emotional journey of heartbreak, betrayal, and resilience, let me ask you, if stories like this move you, if you believe every tale has a lesson worth sharing, then please take a moment to like this video, leave your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Exposed Tales, so we can continue bringing you more real, powerful stories that touch the heart and awaken the soul. The old man's name was Ibrahim, 73 years old, his back bent from decades of labor in the fields, his hands calloused from carrying more weight than life ever should have asked of him. Beside him, Ayesha, his devoted wife of 50 years, still carried a warmth in her eyes, though tears brimmed as she tried to mask her despair. They had given everything for their son: education, a home, land sold off piece by piece so he could rise above poverty. And he had. Rashid was now a respected businessman, with a spacious house and wealth that Ibrahim never dreamed of. But wealth had changed him. Or perhaps it was his wife Sarah, whose sharp words and cold demeanor had slowly carved away at whatever love once bound the family together. That night Ayesha whispered, "We cannot wait until morning. Ibrahim, if we stay they'll send us away." Her voice cracked like glass under pressure. Ibrahim, though proud and stubborn, felt his resolve melt. He knew she was right. They had no place here anymore. Their son's silence upstairs, his lack of defense, his cowardly nod in agreement to his wife's cruel suggestion, was proof enough. They gathered what little they had. An old shawl, a tin box with their savings, faded photographs, and Ibrahim's prayer beads. Every creak of the floorboards felt like a scream. They moved like shadows, careful not to wake Rashid or Sarah. When the front door clicked open, the night air rushed in, cold but freeing. Ayesha clutched Ibrahim's arm, whispering prayers beneath her breath as they stepped out into the unknown. The streets were empty. Only the sound of distant dogs barking filled the void. With each step, memories flooded back, of Rashid's first day at school when he clung to Ayesha's sari and refused to let go, of nights when Ibrahim worked 2 shifts so his son could have books, not hunger, of the promise Rashid once made as a boy. "Abba Ami, I'll take care of you when you're old. You'll never have to worry." That promise had shattered into silence tonight. They walked aimlessly until their legs gave way. On a broken bench near the edge of town they sat. Ayesha shivered, but Ibrahim wrapped his shawl around her. He stared at the dark sky, fighting tears. "I thought raising a son meant securing our old age," he murmured. "But maybe Allah wants us to learn something more." The following days tested them in ways they hadn't imagined. They had nowhere to go. The relatives who once swarmed their home for help in times of need now turned away with excuses. "You're too old. We have no space. You'll be better in a care home." Each rejection cut deeper. Yet, despite the hunger and exhaustion, Ibrahim and Ayesha clung to each other. Their bond, forged through decades of sacrifice, became their only shelter. One evening, as they sat outside a small mosque, an orphan boy approached. Barefoot, with eyes that spoke of hunger and resilience, he offered them half of his dry bread. "You look like my grandparents," he said shyly. Tears filled Ayesha's eyes as she took the bread, breaking it into 2 equal pieces. Ibrahim looked at the boy and whispered, "You gave us more than our own blood did, child." That moment became a turning point. Instead of wallowing in their betrayal, Ibrahim and Ayesha chose to give what little they had left to those who needed love the most. They began spending their days at the orphanage near the mosque. Ayesha cooked with the little food donations she could gather, and Ibrahim told stories to the children, teaching them lessons of honesty, gratitude, and faith. Slowly, the orphanage children began calling them Nana and Nani. News of their kindness spread quietly through the neighborhood. Strangers began to recognize them, offering small tokens of help, warm clothes, food, and even a mattress. The pain of losing their son never vanished, but it transformed into a different kind of love, one not bound by blood but by choice, compassion, and shared humanity. Months passed before fate decided to write another twist. Rashid, the son who had abandoned them, faced his downfall. His business partner betrayed him, and debts piled up until the same wealth he once worshipped crumbled into dust. When no one stood beside him, not even Sarah, who left him the moment his fortune faded. He wandered the streets, broken and desperate. It was then that he stumbled upon the orphanage. Inside he froze. His parents sat among children, their faces alight with joy, laughter echoing where once there was only sorrow. Abraham's eyes caught his, and for the first time in years, Rashid saw not weakness, but strength born of pain, forgiveness, and resilience. Tears spilled as he fell to his knees before them. "Forgive me, Abba Ammi, I was blind." The silence that followed was heavy yet healing. Ayesha placed her trembling hand on his head. "We prayed for you, even when you threw us away," she whispered. "But forgiveness is not ours to give alone. It is yours to live, Rashid. Change your heart, and only then will you find peace." Before I share the ending of this powerful story, let me remind you, if this tale has touched your heart, please don't forget to like this video, share your thoughts in the comments, and subscribe to Exposed Tales so we can keep creating more stories that bring hope, tears, and inspiration to your screens. In the end, Ibrahim and Ayesha chose not to return to Rashid's house. Instead, they stayed with the children who now called them family. Their days, though simple, were filled with purpose and love that no wealth could buy. Rashid visited often, humbling himself to rebuild trust, learning slowly what it truly meant to be a son. And though scars remained, forgiveness lit the path forward. The message their story left behind was clear: blood may betray, but love chosen freely can heal wounds deeper than betrayal itself. True family is not always tied by birth, but by the bonds of care, respect, and compassion. And no matter how dark the night, there is always a dawn waiting. If only we choose love over pride, forgiveness over anger, and humanity over selfishness.